Sing. Okay.
Do you want me to do it now or later?
Okay.
I do.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Okay, that's fine. Let me just show
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is your humble servant, Mr. Patrick, and this is the state of the nation, and we are live. With me here is my beautiful wife, my producer down there, and my little girl called Fim. Okay. Anyway, let's wait for people before we start. Thank you very much. It's going to be an interesting one today. Um, Trump came out of the blue and called Nigeria a disgraced country. Hold on 1 minute. Okay. So let's wait for some people before we start. Delight. Delight says hi. Thank you very much, Mr. Delight. Delight. I don't know if it's male or female. Sorry. So let's wait for some more people. Then we will start. But it's gonna be an interesting one today. As you can see on the from the thumbnail, Trump called Nigeria a disgraced country, and the purpose for today is to analyze if truly Nigeria is a disgraced country. So today we'll try and get a number. So if you want to call in, it will be good to have an interaction. If you want to call in, that would be nice. Okay. So Trump labeled Nigeria a disgraced country. So let's wait for few more people before we start. Let me have a drink of water. Okay. So as we wait for people, let me just comment on this Anambra election. We might come to that later. The Soludo and Co. Just as usual, when it comes to Nigerian politics or Nigerian election, somebody must, somebody must, someone must be unalived, or they call it why. This is my first time using that word why. They will buy somebody. So as usual in Anambra State, they've some people have become the victims of the unknown gunmen. Yeah. So because of election. Let's wait for some more people, then we'll start. We'll start. But it's unfortunate in Anambra State at the moment, people are losing their lives because they are seeking for power. And not only that, it becomes, it is so sad for someone, you are seeking power and you are prepared to unalive your colleagues. All because of power. Just to have that word, Your Excellency. Your Excellency. It is very sad. It is very sad. So let's maybe the next 1 minute, then we'll kick off. We'll kick off. So the title for today is Nigeria. Or put it this way, Trump labeled Nigeria a disgraced country. So we're going to have a chat today, and if you think Nigeria is a disgraced country, just I'll give you my number soon, and you can call in, and let's have a talk. Is Nigeria a disgraced country? If you are for or against, or you want to contribute, then you are free to opine. Okay? So let's go. Is Nigeria a failed state? Not if let's not go to failed state. Is Nigeria a disgraced country? And the answer for me, let me just say for now, it appears so. What do you mean? Okay. So, if you look at the country as a whole, you could see that the what we call democracy is not what is being played out in Nigeria. It's not what that's the Nigerian democracy is far away. Democracy, the basic government, government studies is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. I'll say it again. Government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So, governance or democracy should be centered on the people. The people here should be, so politicians will come out, seek for, should I use the word approval, to lead. So the people would then vote their choice candidate to go and represent them at the central. That's how it should work. But what we see here in Nigeria is these politicians will come out, promise heaven and earth, and induce people with money. Induce people with money. And when money is not enough, then thugs will be assigned. But everything that will be done is to make sure the stronger person gets the votes. Let's go back to River State. The man that took over from Wike and his colleague Fubara, I think that's what they call him. That election, many people lost their lives. All over Nigeria, election, when it happens, people must buy. In a normal country, it cannot happen. It cannot happen. A couple of weeks ago in the United Kingdom, there was an election. People were still minding their business. People were still minding their business. Election should not be a do or die affair. If you win, good for you. If you lose, just manage your emotions. So, I believe the image that Nigeria has projected gave Trump the well, I said no, it's not the power. How do I put it? Gave Trump the boldness to come out and say Nigeria is a disgraced country. And I saw in the news that Deputy Senate was asking Trump to withdraw that statement. I'm very sorry, but that's a joke because Trump will never. No one, Trump does not apologize. For him to apologize, it will be a special occasion. Trump will not apologize. He won't apologize. Because the Senate president, Senate deputy president, sort of trying to induce Trump to apologize or say withdraw that statement. That's a fallacy. Trump will not do it. In short, we should be careful because the Trump's next response might be to wipe some people out. So the government should, make an effort. But that's not good. So we've projected to the world that we are abnormal. It might be a harsh word, but that's the fact. Abnormal. The way we do things, we must buy people to win an election. And that alone, look at the terrorism going on. We can't even solve it. government, from what we saw in the media, government negotiates with terrorists. Yes, you can negotiate with them, but it should be measured. It should be measured. I know people are saying, well, we shouldn't, negotiate with terrorists. But the Americans had a meeting with the current president of Syria, who was an Al Qaeda member, either Al Qaeda or ISIS. Upon all that he did with those groups, when the time came, when he took over from the former president, was the I forgot his name now. If I remember, I'll put it there. The Syria guy. So when he came, they took over, and before you knew it, the Americans were negotiating with the man. So we can say it was in Americans' interest to negotiate with this man because he was their head guy. I mean, the head of the one of these terrors, and it appears it's working out well. So there is room to negotiate with terrorists. There is room, but it depends. Now, the what's his name again? Gumi. Gumi came out there and said no, that we need to negotiate with terrorists, and Nigerians were clamoring saying no. Why? There's a place to negotiate with terrorists, but it should not be hypocritical. By that I mean, he said, I'm just summarizing, to negotiate with terrorists, not the IPOB that wants to leave Nigeria. That was a very wrong statement. So you could see, because if we're saying democracy, that is not democratic, then you can see that in principle, or in a normal term, that Nigeria is not actually or fully democratic. Because if Nigeria is democratic, a group can decide we want to have our own country. All Nigeria needs to do is to project and say, okay, if you leave, you are going to suffer. What do you mean? Well, because it's better that we are unified than breaking down, breaking off. Good example is which country again? Like America, for example. America that we clamor for. So states can decide tomorrow that they want to leave the union, and they will not be shut down. The example I remember was when United Kingdom wanted to separate. Scotland said we want to have our own country, and David Cameron, after much pressure, caved in. Okay, let's have referendum, and the campaign began. So the two groups were putting on their points, for and against. Now remember, the Queen of England did not make a comment publicly regarding that election. Because if for example, she loses that election and so the referendum and Scotland leaves, probably she will not be the Queen of Scotland anymore. But you see, because the Queen in public obeys the rule of law and order. Because in United Kingdom, because she's a monarch, but there are some, there are lines she can't cross. So the Scottish say, okay, let's have our own country. If we have our own country, we're gonna do this. We'll have more money. We'll do this because many of the oils in UK comes from that area, Scotland. If I'm wrong, just opine. Now, you then have these two groups campaigning, sorry. And what were they doing? This group will come out and put their position. Here is why we should not separate. The other guy says, okay, this is why we should separate. At the end of the referendum, the Scotland didn't win. They couldn't separate. But in that process, nobody lost their lives. There was no violence, no bribes. Yes, there were some lies. Because in general, politicians, they lie. It's a known fact. But the only thing that happened was lies, no intimidation, no thugs or assassins. Everyone was doing their best to win the argument. But right now, Scotland are making noise to launch referendum again. So the debate should be cordial, respect each other, not breaking the law. But in Nigeria, it's quite different. It's quite different. It is whether, where. So when I say disgraced country, get where I'm coming from. The Gumi named IPOB as, the anger should be on IPOB, not the terrorists. The terrorists are good people, not the IPOB, because IPOB wants to pull out from Nigeria. But we know that even the IPOB and the central thing between these whole things is that people have lost their lives, and that should not. We should not derive joy from that. Rather, we should be ashamed. We should be ashamed. Now, remember in court, when Shawore was in court, that by the time the case is about to end, or probably when he's released in court, it's okay, yep, he will be arrested in court again for another or trumped up charges, the disregard of rule of law and order. A judge will request someone to appear in court. The politician or whoever won't bother. The put it this way: the judges in Nigeria, some of them, they have no power. In a normal country, if a judge calls for your attention and you don't turn up, you're in trouble. But it appears in Nigeria, the rich can disregard the rule of law. So that's the image that we paint or that we project to the international community. Let's begin Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped from Kenya, brought to Nigeria. Yeah, someone will say, by the way, but the Israelis. What was it? Sorry, that the Israelis did the same thing during the Holocaust. Okay, I don't know the rules and regulations then, but it tells you in this current age that there are some things we can't get away with. Even though the world might keep quiet and they are just watching. And they are just watching how Nigerians behave. Nigeria is a disgraced country where we have Nigeria, because of desperation of money, will commit fraud. Even officials, government officials, are helping out. A country where citizens are in IDP camps. It says a lot. Like, you don't see, say, let's look at the police, for example. So Nigeria now, our police are probably, our police are now, you can, label them as bandits. Not the bandits or the Fulani or the Yorubas or the Igbos. The security guys are now bandits, blocking the roads to get some money. Then when people come out to protest, the same policemen will be, assigned to brutalize the citizens. But when the protest is for the government, all the whole police, the security guys stays clear. There is protest in Kaduna, I think, in Kano, because of what Trump said. If you watch that video, they were they were allowed to do their protest. No police, no military, no security, because it tells you that the government was involved. The NSAS, the NSAS, during the NSAS, what happened? People were protesting, and before you knew what was going, many lost their lives. Many lost their lives, and those investigations were just to clear face, just to clear face. What of those that were applied? Where are they? Do we have their names? I know I saw a list about 20 something people, but that would be probably times four. Probably times four. A country where the people that make law disregard court order. A country where a politician has been accused of fraud. But when the politician moves to another party, his sins are washed away. A country that selects who to deal with. You must have connections for you to progress. A country where if you have no electricity, you will go and buy a transformer to power your electricity. Or even if you buy transformer and you hold on please. Okay, kill me. A country whereby if you buy a transformer, because normally it should be the NEPA, not NEPA, sorry, the electrical body that should install that, you have to pay them to do their responsibility. So these are things when because they know how Nigeria rules, and so when they call us a disgraced country, we should not be offended, or then try to hold on a second. Try to, you're trying to advise Trump to withdraw that statement. That's a fallacy, as far as I'm concerned. A country where the Senate president was accused of harassment, the Senate president and Natasha, and he's still there. No proper investigation, allegedly. In a normal country, he should have stepped aside, clear his name, then return. But no. A country where the Senate president was telling his members that your prayers and your bank accounts. We just heard yesterday that those politicians that are switching from PDP or whatever party to APC are being rewarded. Some are getting millions of naira for switching parties. So even the federal government is inducing other members to move to their party. So if the presidency can do such a thing, allegedly, then what do you expect when they are campaigning? They have to do as normal, induce the people and get their votes. And if you don't get their votes, they use violence. So whoever that is thinking that Trump should withdraw that statement should be sincere with himself. Or maybe ask a question, please. Trump calling us a disgraced country, do we deserve it? Then check the evidence littered everywhere. Even the deputy senate president that is calling for Trump to withdraw that statement, are his hands clean? It's not the same country that a local a politician, they gathered people, threw them in their building and set it on fire. A politician. Has anything happened? Do you think the West doesn't see all these things? Where justice is for the rich, and punishment for the paupers. So with this, look at the election that happened between P2B and Atiku, and allegedly they asked the judge, defined and, because they said according to the constitution, you have to win number of states and Abuja. Right there, the law was twisted. So tell me, if they call us any name, we don't need to, make noise. Rather, we should be ashamed. A country where the man from Ijoma, what's his name? Asari Dokubo, who is inviting Americans to go, that when they come, this is a man, but he's not in government, he's a man that the state armed. They go about with weapons. Selective. There's a place to invite, controversial guys if it will make the country to move forward. But it has to be done respectfully. So that's where we are as a nation. So if they call us a failed state, we should not be angry. We shouldn't be angry because that's what we, unfortunately, what we've projected to the wall is what they use to reply. The Anambra election, let's see what happens, because at the end of the day, so far, one person has replied. Let's see what happens before the end of today. Maybe by the time we finish this, maybe, who knows? Because in Nigeria, election is by force. I must win the election. Because, you won't blame them, because election, politics, enriches people. The oppressed are watching whilst politicians are having a good time. Are having a good time. A country whereby if I criticize someone now, they will label it as cybercrime or cyberbullying. A country where we call ourselves democracy or democratic country, but the big guys, they want to suppress free speech. They want to suppress free speech. Yeah, so, and in democracy, part of the democracy is there must be room to express yourself. Once you are not causing damage or damaging properties, you know. But in Nigeria, it appears it doesn't work that way. If I'm powerful, I will deal with you. In Nigeria, a policeman came out on TV and declared Shaware wanted. No court order, nothing. So it tells you where we are. So when Trump calls us a disgraced country, what we need to do is to gather and see how we can fix that country. Because as I'm saying this, if I go too far now, I'll be labeled as that I'm demarketing Nigeria. You know that word, demarket. Demarketing. Or demarketing Nigeria. I think that sounds better. So, that's where we are. Nigeria should be leading the black nation. Because right now, the middle class are leaving Nigeria. The Chinese are coming to take over. And because of the Chinese investment, that's why Chinese now came out to warn America. But you see, they can warn. But if America begins to perform drone treatments on Nigeria, Chinese will be on the run. Chinese will be on the run. I don't. Let's pick up the Chinese for example. So the Chinese, like they do this their military parade. Some of those weapons, do they even work? Are they props? Yeah, Chinese, they've got the largest army in the world, yes. But the war, if they decide, if you think, put it this way, if Nigerians think that the government, the Chinese government, will step in, if America feels like treating Nigerians with their drones, so do you think that the Chinese will come out to help? Let me say this: Iran and Chinese, they are good, diplomatically, they do interact. But when America sent their B-2 bombers, was China anywhere? No. Did China reply? No. Or they will say, diplomatic, we don't support this, they'll just read speech, and that will be it. Nothing will happen. And so with Nigeria, if they decide to strike, there's nothing the Chinese will do. There's nothing the Russians will do. Because, by the way, in the international scene, we have no respect. We have no respect. There's nothing we can do. Nobody, at least at this present time, no country can challenge America. Either. So instead of the country to gather themselves and see how we can resolve this, but it appears that, or I don't know, do they think that they will bribe Trump to withdraw? Anyway, so it tells you why. Before, the our projection. The Nigerian brand has been bastardized. You see, when the West claps for Nigeria, it's not because they are doing well. They are trying to look for something to explore. Uh, let, let's bring out this man's case. Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa, yes. Allegedly, they didn't do their things well. But what happened? Before he was paraded in court, if you notice, the Scandinavian country, they came to Nigeria. And the Nigeria, put it this way, the Nigerians reminded them. Because in Scandinavia, there are, the Western world, they have rules of But I want to be surprised that an exchange was made. I might be wrong. An exchange was made. Get us this man. Then we can give you room to explore some resources. Because they know, you see, this battle to keep Nigeria as one is not being played out well. This battle to keep Nigeria one Nigeria, is also part of our problem. Because trying to keep Nigeria one, we then use violence, intimidation. It shows the world that these people are not normal. That we are not normal. Because by now, the Nigerian government, even the past, there should be, implementation to bring that country together. But as it is now, the country the country is divided. Divided. And the world see these things. They see these things. They see these things. So that's what sort of, embodies them. So if they call us a rag country, a useless country, a pariah state, we shouldn't be angry, because that's a fact. Because of the image we've projected. A country where citizens now build roads. Citizens. The maintenance of roads should be by the government, but in Nigeria, it is the duty of the citizens to fix their roads. As they are fixing their roads, the citizens or government officials are flying to different countries, having a good time. So it tells you that we have a long way to go. It tells you we have a long way to go. So who will deliver us from this predicament? Who will deliver us from this shame? I don't think that's a tall order. That's a tall order. Because the image, to fix Nigeria's image, would, for me, if you ask me, would take nothing less than 20 years. Because the country is on the verge of collapse. It's on the verge of collapse. Yes, we pretend that we are a democratic country, but from what I've just listed down, it shows that it is a wrong assumption that we are democratic. That we are democratic. Anyway, it is interesting, put it that way. So I just want to say this, that if the deputy senior president and other politicians or anyone else thinks that Trump will withdraw that statement of calling Nigeria a disgraced country, that will be the joke of the century, because it will not happen. It will not happen. Let me go to my. So before we leave. Okay. Now, the 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 news we had today was the listen listen. So we have a new INEC chairman who will be conducting the election in 2027. I'm not derailing. 2027. So in 2020, if I'm correct, I think. Anyway, I think 2020, he wrote a piece on the Nigerian genocide. Listen carefully. He wrote a piece on the Nigerian genocide. And he didn't know that he will one day be the INEC chairman. Or maybe he had a dream that he wants to be, but. So, somehow, that law review came out where, as a lawyer, he placed his facts that there is genocide in Nigeria. What's happening now? Listen. The Sharia Council have asked Tinubu to withdraw that man's appointment. So withdraw his appointment based on his opinion. Pick that up, Peter. He should withdraw. They are asking Tinubu to withdraw this man's position because it's clear, because of his own opinion. So if someone comes out and say it appears that Nigeria they want to Islamize Nigeria, will you blame them? Because of his opinion. So you see, when we talk of democracy, the tenets of democracy, we should be the government. We should be freedom of expression. It becomes tough to defend these mindsets or this notion that Nigeria is democratic. So they are asking so if they disagree with him, so put it this way then. But let's see what happens if the man, this lawyer, this INEC chairman, will change his views like Ron Omokri. Let's see what happens. But it tells you where we are. So in conclusion, I will say this. If anyone thinks that Trump will withdraw that statement, that person, I can guarantee that person will be wasting his time. Because Trump, who I know, I don't know him personally, but he will never apologize. In short, what he might do self is to send some bombs and take out some people. And when he does that, nobody can do anything. I see, I think I was on social media, some military guys were saying, hey, America, come down now, we'll teach you a lesson. With America, it's not audacious. That won't help them. As I said on my numerous comments or program, I said I don't see America stepping in, having their soldiers on ground. It will be, if they want to come in, it will be by some drone treatment, and they'll step away. Unless an American citizen was captured, then the case will then change. And let me say this, I think the reason why Trump hasn't said anything yet is because the Americans shut down. The federal government shut down. They're still debating for money. I think that's the window, or put it this way, that's the reason Trump has not yet responded. That's why I think he hasn't responded. Because if you remember, before he made that comment regarding the Nigerians and Christians, he was busy, trashing matters between his Asian talk. But when he came out, he's now in control. He did what? Quickly, he just made that tweet. And this was the government to try and see what they can do. The government now says, first of all, they say we're going to meet Tinubu. Trump. Tinubu is going to meet Trump on Tuesday. On that Tuesday, they changed their mind. They say, well, he's not going to meet with Trump again. He's going to meet with JD Vance. And when I say good luck to them, and all of a sudden they say, oh, well, by the way, now that one has been cancelled again. We'll see Trump in South Korea. No, South Africa. But unfortunately for them, a couple of months before then, Trump has said he's not going to South Africa for the G7, so G20. So probably it might be an official or an American representative that might go. But things can change. But let's see how it goes. But Nigeria, unfortunately, is in trouble. I'll leave here. So thank you for those that have spent some time listening to us. I don't take it lightly. Hopefully by tomorrow, if I come in tomorrow, I'll have a number so that we can interact. Okay? Please click the sign. The thumbs up for us, please. By doing so, the social media algorithm will help us to allow people to watch, to know about us, and please just let me say an offering for our time. Just click on those signs buttons, and I appreciate. Okay, thank you very much for the likes, shares, and I will see you. I'll come in tomorrow. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for Gordon Sanyo. The light is too distant for me, so sorry. Katso 7 and then Delight. Thank you. So please share this broadcast, and thank you very much. Peace.